Positioning well as Zenyatta can be a difficult task. He's quite vulnerable seeing that he has no real mobility or any escape options, and he's fairly squishy. Just moving slightly out of position can get you killed due to your lack of self-protection, so in this video I'm going to go over some examples of how to and how not to position as Zenyatta in order to help those of you who greatly struggle with staying alive. For someone like Zenyatta, the general thing you want to do at the beginning of fights is to position in the backline of your team, spamming orbs from afar while keeping a lookout for flankers. As simple as this sounds, this is one of the biggest things I see Zenyatta players, at least from the VODs that I review, struggle with the most. Players tend to move forward at the wrong time and put themselves closer to the enemies when they don't need to. Aside from perhaps losing a little bit of accuracy, Zenyatta functions pretty much the same way as he does from further ranges. He can still have his orbs on his allies and he doesn't have any damage fall off. If possible, good positions for Zenyatta will generally revolve around health packs, some sort of cover or distance between you and your enemies. It can be difficult in some scenarios to find a good position because while doing all of this, you want to be able to still rotate your Orb of Harmony and Orb of Discord on the most important targets. In some scenarios, you may find yourself dying to flankers like Genji and Tracer, even though you may be watching out for them. In a scenario like this, it's best for you to either push up closer to your own team so that they can help you, or stick with the other support. A friendly Lucio, Ana, or Mercy can keep you alive or help you fight against them so that you can deal with them. Oftentimes, getting help from someone is the most viable option, but when that's not available, you'll have to fight your way out of the duel that the enemy has initiated, and if your aim is really good, then you actually stand a fair chance at winning fights with squishier targets. If you're really struggling, then perhaps you can use a beginner's priority list. That being, make sure that you're safe, then you can use your spells, and then proceed to do damage. It seems really simple, but it's generally what you're going to want to look for when you're wanting to position yourself properly. Now, this is a very vague list, but it's kind of difficult to come up with a really concrete one since there's so many variables in the game. So let's go over some examples to show you what good positioning and bad positioning may look like more in depth. The first clip comes from a game I played on Nepal's Sanctum. Now, notice how far back I'm positioned. This is a good position due to the safety it provides, and it allows me to do my job. I can put my orbs on appropriate targets and throw out my Orb of Destruction after doing so. From this position, no one aside from a flanker will try to attack me since my position is just so far in the back. Majority of the enemy players are going to have to deal with my front line first before they can get to me, otherwise they're going to be taking a lot of damage. As the fight progresses and my team starts to push forward, you can see me adjust my positioning towards the point. There are two reasons I do this, one to capture the point, and two so that I can maintain vision so that I can continue to provide support. Something else you may have not noticed is that I'm close to 2 health packs in case I get into danger or potentially need to duel somebody. Being close to health packs makes you a little bit more durable as a support, especially one with no real mobility or survivability. Like I said earlier, a big problem I find with Zenyatta players is that they like to push up too far sometimes when it's not necessary. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. The initial position that I have is great. I'm far distance from the enemies and I have cover. If someone tries to come for me, then I can cut off line of sight from the rest of the enemies and attempt to duel them. Even a character with high mobility can't really get to me without wasting a lot of resources, so like a Tracer will have to waste all her blinks getting to me, making the fight a little bit easier, and if a Winston tries to jump onto me, then I'm going to be able to kite him from this position. The problem with my position occurs when I decide to step forward. Moving forward in this situation doesn't actually provide me with any sort of benefit. It actually puts me in a worse position than before since it's bringing me closer to enemies. Generally, you want to keep distance from them, and this is not one of the scenarios where I want to be chasing them. Luckily, in this scenario, my team immediately helped me, but if they were any slower, I probably would have died to Winston because I pushed up too far and positioned poorly. The last example comes from a game I played on Oasis. My positioning is very similar to the Nepal example. I'm in the backline of my team, distancing myself from the enemies. From this position, I can support my team and take cover if necessary. I maintain this position for a good majority of the fight until my team starts to push towards the point. Now, I take the place that they were standing as they push onto the point so I can maintain a safety position while I'm still able to support them. Throughout this entire fight, even though I once again step just a little bit too close, I maintain distance. That's the important thing. I don't ever walk up right in the enemy's face to fight them, but instead I decide to shoot from afar. Just before I finish off this video, I would like to say that these are examples. Not in every single scenario is this going to be the case where you're going to want to sit in the back and just not approach the enemy. This video was me just trying to show you how I position as Zenyatta while giving you reasons for why I'm positioning this way. If you have any questions about positioning with Zenyatta or just anything about Overwatch, you can leave a comment down below or join my Discord. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.